Kymberlee, thank you for agreeing to meet with me today. I'm Lucia. I'm a dance intern. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your career now, and how you got where you are today?
How long have you got? Absolutely. So my experience or my foundation is entirely in street dance. So I haven't actually ever studied any classical or contemporary styles. I'm entirely from the school of lino and boombox. Literally started in the streets. And I actually started in a local youth and community centre. And I started because all my friends were doing it and I wanted to be cool as well. Everyone else was doing it, so I wanted in on it too. And when I did begin, I had 3 left feet for about 4 years. It took me a long time to find my feet in dance. But I just kept on at it because I enjoyed the atmosphere. I enjoyed coming together with my friends after school, you know, so that's why I just kept coming back. And then one day it all fell into place. And I went, hang on a minute, this is pretty good. I'm going to be able to do something with this. But yeah, initially it wasn't about being a professional dancer. It was, you know, literally about enjoying, you know, the dance style for what it is. And so from there, I've gone on to do some absolutely amazing things, quite surreal experiences as well, from signing to Nike as a dance athlete and European consultant, so working across Europe, and then also working with artists like Madonna and Cheryl Cole, you know, to work with them doing street dance was very, very strange experiences, phenomenal ones. Yeah. So yeah, I'm literally, you know, a street dancer, and I've done work in the commercial industry, and you know, now it's about teaching and passing it on the knowledge. So.
What made you want to work in dance?
It's interesting because initially it wasn't about, as I said, it wasn't about wanting to work in dance. I went to university to study biomedical science so I could do forensic pathology. I was meant to chop up dead bodies for a living. But actually what changed my mind, it was just waking up every morning and just loving the idea of dancing and thinking, do you know what, if I could just pay my rent and do this, that would be awesome. Can you imagine? And so that's what made me sort of turn around and go, do you know what, I'm going to give this a crack as a career and see what happens. I loved the achievements, you know, I loved going to a class and learning a new routine. I loved the feeling of performing in front of an audience and having them enjoy what I gave them. So for me, it was a dream idea, you know, a dream career. Yeah. So it wasn't something I took lightly, you know. I didn't wake up in the morning and just, you know, decide. I had to think about it a lot because coming from, you know, a background in such in-depth education, you know, and then deciding that I wanted to dance for a living. You can imagine my parents passed out when I told them that. They were just, you know, flat out, what, you know. So yeah, it was something. It was a big career move, but one I'm really glad that I made.
Yeah. Was there ever a time that you doubted yourself and felt like giving up, and how did you overcome this?
Wow, there's a number of times you feel that way. It's interesting for me because going into the dance industry, that began to happen as I started to transition into the commercial industry. So I wanted to get involved in things like TV and music videos and that sort of idea. Now at the time, and even now, there were these ideals that you had to conform to. So you had to look a certain way, dance a certain way, be trained a certain way, and I was the complete opposite. You know, I didn't go to a posh dance school. My parents couldn't afford to send me to one. So I trained in the street. I was a female doing very masculine dance styles. So doing the hip-hop styles, the old school popping, the b-boying, you know, they almost expected that you would either become a ballet, contemporary or jazz dancer, or you'd go completely the other way and put on a bikini and shake your bum on a rappers car, you know, which wasn't me either. So that was a big barrier towards my entry. And then also being plus size as a dancer. So you were expected to be no bigger than a size 8. You know, and when I first started out, you know, I was a size 16. I went right up to being a size 20. So I was a plus size dancer. So it was very hard to get the industry to take note of that. And all the time you go to auditions and they wouldn't even agree to see me. It didn't matter whether I could dance or not. They wouldn't even look at me. You know, it was just like, absolutely not. And I think the biggest knockback and the one point where I decided I really almost stopped dancing was doing a reality TV show back when they first started. And it was a dance show called Bump and Grind. And I auditioned for the show. And I actually auditioned in the hip-hop style, knowing full well that I was better than a lot of people that had auditioned. And the judges completely tore me apart. I was the person that was made, you know how on reality TV shows there's always one there the camera pans to and it's like, this is the clown for today. That was me. That was, you know, what they made me out to be. And so after seeing that, I thought, there's no place for me in this industry. I can't do this anymore. It's just emotionally draining, and at that point, I wanted to give up. So it was, to turn that around was a really hard slog, and I'm so glad I did.
What training did you undergo to where you are now? Go to any specific dance schools?
Well, I mean, that's it. Back then dance schools were expensive, and again, you were expected to train in very classical and contemporary styles. And I studied classical music. I actually did that, but the actual dance styles, I had no chance. I was, prancing around like a baby elephant when I was a kid. I wasn't a ballet dancer, even if I wanted to be. And so, in terms of my training, it's been from the people and the pioneers who created the street dance styles. And so, being able to travel, go to places, I mean, this didn't happen until I was a little bit older, but going to Europe and going to the USA to find the people that actually created these street dance styles that we know very commonly today, going to the actual person and saying, please teach me, or go into a class that they were in it. That's how I kind of come together, and in terms of my training, but nothing formal. I have no certificates or accreditations or anything like that.
Have you got any advice for young people wanting to become a dancer and undertaking auditions?
Yes, I do. I think firstly it's very important to absolutely, undoubtedly love what you do. You really have to have a passion for it, and it's got to be driven by more than fame and more than money, because unfortunately there's not too much fame and not too much money in dance. Your job, especially as a street or commercial dancer, is to make an artist look good or make a production look good. It's not about you. So you have to understand that. Secondly, you have to really believe in your ability, and if for some reason you don't believe in your ability, take steps to change that belief. So if you feel you need more training, go and get more training. If you feel you're not sure about something, find out about it. Especially with the invention of the internet now. When I started, there wasn't the internet. With the invention of the internet now, it's really easy to find these things. So go out and get them and make sure that actually you feel comfortable. And finally, make that jump. Take the plunge. Because we can be forever standing on the edge of that cliff going, I'm going to one day, or, I might have a go at this audition, or, you've actually got to make the jump and understand that actually every audition is a free dance class. So if you look at it that way, just go and do as many auditions as you can, because you get a free class with a choreographer somewhere. You don't have to pay to go to an audition, actually. So I think that's my advice.
What advice would you give to a young person hoping for a future career in dance?
Again, in terms of having a career in dance, it's really important, again, to be driven by the love of dance, but also cross-train in as many dance styles as you can. The more that you know, the bigger your vocabulary, the more likely it is that you'll get hired for the job. Also, it's about understanding that there's more to dance than just being on stage or in front of the camera. There are so many more exit routes and avenues and places you can go. If you've got a passion for dance, you don't always have to be on stage doing it. There are so many other options. And so it's about looking at that. If maybe, it doesn't quite work out that you do get the commercial aspect, there are ways that you can be involved in that. It can be a job. You can wake up every morning smiling, thinking, today I am going to dance. There are so many options out there. So it's definitely about that. So yeah, making sure you're cross-training, making sure, and also being able to live on a budget. It's very hard for a lot of people, but yeah, just knowing that, the money aspect of it, it's always going to be smaller than a lot of regular careers. So as long as you love what you do and you're happy to be a slightly struggling artist, it's a really fulfilling way of spending your time. I wouldn't change what I've done for the world, absolutely not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.